Hi everybody, Brian here. Let's talk about trading, market analysis as usual. I'm going to go over what looks to be pointing up, and probably, if you haven't seen my last video, been fairly strong. These are 4-hour charts with harmonics, scans. I wouldn't recommend right now. But with the US Canadian dollar, it's been flat, has a long. Here we could know what kind of week we're looking at as people load up one way or another. You can see here people are not loading up on the safe havens. Got a short here on the USD Norwegian. We've got the another short on the USD negative or DKK. Here we're starting to see some longs here now in gold with the British pound, gold in the Hong Kong, gold in the New Zealand, gold in the Singapore. So these are currencies that you could probably rest assured they're going to go anywhere, because gold, if it's being loaded up, these are the currencies you want to be in, which reflect, again, markets as well as instruments for those regions. Along, it's been moving on up. You can see that Euro, US, New Zealand, not quite. That did have a long. As well as you can see here, another safe haven, Euro, Swedish, short. We've got a Euro, SGD, long. Euro and USD. Now, this is a big one. If it's moving on up, it's got a long, that's probably going to do exactly that throughout the week. If you look at, that's an hourly chart, but if you look at the 1 day, it's starting to move up. You can just see from that bar right there. Expect that. Okay, and then we get into the exotics. I've talked about these before. I don't really pay attention. That's okay, short there. That's usually another safe haven. Here's an interesting one that I've been watching. I really like this one. This is USD Thai baht. That's got a long, so not huge compared to other pairs out there that might do well. This one has been flat. That's the USD Canadian, but that has still a long. Again, more of the safe haven. I was going to say this is going to be a long. USD Singapore short. Again, another one. Here's one that we should look out for. Natural gas. This has performed really good. You can see here since January 24th. Now call for short. Warmer weather. And that's kind of predictable. Canadian Hong Kong short. Well, we don't really care about that one. Pound against the rand short. Now, here's one that we should ask ourselves. Singapore, Hong Kong. Is this an Asian play? Maybe. But it's got a long. It's not going anywhere, so too early to tell. Now, this is another one, early indicator. This is copper and US dollar. This is an important one because this is going to tell you just roughly how things are moving overall as a lead. And see this kind of performance on a late Sunday evening. Expect that. That's going to be another strong indicator. You can see here we got 2 USD. So USD might be reversing as well. Australia USD performing now because maybe, just maybe, US dollar is starting to come back. Usually what I've seen, if the US dollar does come back, it's usually Australia and New Zealand that will lead the way. See here we got a long, not a big one, but it's a long, and it has been moving in the last day or so. Pound against Canadian short. These are going to be predictable. Oh, USD Sweden, we have one short, one long there. It doesn't matter. Short there again on the USD Denmark. Here's an interesting one. Yen, another long. Here we got some silver calls. As I said before, with that manipulation that happened early in the week, we have shorts. Okay, short again, silver, pound, silver, Hong Kong. That was a short. New Zealand short, Singapore short. Okay, so how's Australia looking? Strong with the Australian dollar in Hong Kong, and we got Euro, Swiss franc. 2 longs here, I bet. Oh, we got 3 calls. But again, with 3 calls, we got to see how it performs. So These are early indicators of what's going to take off. Historically, what will perform or outperform to get better return. You're in Hong Kong, it's a long, but it's really not going anywhere. Euro, Hungarian, 2 shorts there. Well, actually, another long, so don't worry about that. Euro and Japanese yen, 2 long. Euro, New Zealand, another long, just going nowhere. I like New Zealand dollar, but it just, I think US, you're going to see more USD. Euro Poland short, Euro Poland long, don't worry about it. Here's your second call for Euro USD dollar. That's going to, which ones may outperform? Let's see here. So we have here calls for Singapore. We got we got 3 calls there. All of them are longing. It's 500. Ugh. I gotta tell you, I love this. Day, weekly. Okay, here we go. So you can see the weekly here. So that's since March. Okay. Now I'm not for 2.8. See if I can break the link here first before I do this. Hopefully this will work and be separate. Okay, so SPX 500. Okay, so what we're talking about since March, 612, that's about a 50% return. You can see here it's pointing up so far on an hourly basis. Let's look at that. Yeah, it's got a nice run up. And that's up until on Oanda, so maybe it's just more international, less US. But we have 3 calls here for Singapore, 30. New Zealand again for Singapore. It's got a long. Now here's some disappointment. I think I talked about, is the China one in there? I know maybe I have not hit it yet. But with these large forming, Saudi really going nowhere. Out of all of them, I would probably, actually we got a short here on Thai baht. So the emerging markets don't look all that great. Here we have our first time seeing a 5-year Treasury bond. I don't know what to say about that, because if the U.S. markets look good, I think a lot of the U.S. markets are looking good for one thing. It's the stimulus talk. They could do a stimulus talk for the next month and the markets will go up. That's all they need to do. But it's still a hurting country with the government doing what it's been doing. USD in Czech, short. USD in Denmark. These are all safe haven. Anything in Asia is unpredictable. You cannot say it's a safe haven or not. I don't think it is. Here we got 2 more. A mix on USD Sweden. So again, I wouldn't worry about that. Corn and US dollars short. CHF and Japanese yen, another short. Pound against the Canadian short. How many very goods we got? So New Zealand franc short. New Zealand Hong Kong. 2 longs there. That's New Zealand Hong Kong. Now, as I said before, in the US dollar, you can tell if it's going to be USD very small, but this might show a little bit of reversal where people will start buying USD in either Australia, which we showed before, or New Zealand. So it's not much, but it could be a sign of, the fundamentals improve because they're just talking stimulus. That's all they do, talk stimulus. I think fundamentally the U.S. is really screwed up right now because of its national debt. 2 more, Singapore and Hong Kong franc short, and the rand and as I would call it. Which ones will start to move? Let's take a look at those. See if any of these may actually start to move come Monday. So we got more of the Australian USD. Those are 2 shorts. So it might not be as strong as we thought, possibly, but again, you can see how there's moves up and we get the pullbacks. Here's an interesting one. UK 100. More shorting here. Got 3 of them, it looks like, but it's been very flat. France used to excite me over the US, but that's been doing okay too. Then we get the big boy. So safe havens don't look too good right now. That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying about the U.S. markets. USD Sweden got a long. I'm not too worried about that. Here's an interesting one: gold in Swiss franc. So we've already talked about that, but gold in both franc and yen. So mix there. So this works. That's from Spin Drift UR. How do you mean technical analysis work? So in my mind, that's why you got to be in the futures market, because there's different ways of trading. I'll be guessed and they're not trading. That's why they need to ask people, what do you think of this and that, and they get killed. Australia, Hong Kong. Let's you go on and on with these. Wheat, short. UK 100, another short. It's not very strong. So